Mother is prosecuting a doctor who circumcised her son on behalf of his father without the mother's consent. Now, this triggered the question in my mind that it's a criminal offence to perform female genital mutilation in the United Kingdom and abroad, but should male circumcision now also be opened up for debate? This is the background to the story. In fact, before I give you the background, give us a call. The lines are open. You can call from now. 03456060973 is the number to call if you want to speak to us about your views on male circumcision. And the background is that this mother had a relationship with a Muslim British man, but the relationship was casual and didn't last. She became a single mother and gave birth, of course, to her baby boy. But because she was conscientious, and I think, well, for good reason, she decided, and well done to her, to make sure that the son would have a relationship with its father. So the father would have visitation. On one of those occasions of visitation, the father, without the mother's permission and without her knowledge, took the baby for a circumcision surgery. And of course the mother, imagine the horror, I really do sympathise with her, of this mother having discovered that her baby was circumcised without her knowledge nor consent. So she is, I believe, rightly prosecuting the doctor who carried out the surgery, and she's being represented by London law firm Bindmans. Now, of course, campaigners, not least of them Tim Alford of the Men Do Complain pressure group, are seizing this as an opportunity to pressure the United Kingdom to follow Iceland's lead, because Iceland could well become the first European country to ban male circumcision for non-medical reasons. And campaigners are suggesting that Britain follow Iceland's lead in copying this law and prohibiting male circumcision. Now, of course, female genital mutilation in all of its forms is illegal. It's a criminal offence in the United Kingdom. But should male circumcision also now be opened up for debate? Now, this topic is personal to me. Of course, I said in the story we've just recounted, the father who took the baby for circumcision is a British Muslim. He did it without his non-Muslim mother's consent. I'm a British Muslim, and I have had to think about this very deeply over the course of the last 17 years, because that's the time frame between my two boys. And I've had to think about it very carefully and research it, because having come from a cultural background where if boys are not circumcised, it's a huge taboo. I've had to balance that with my increasingly, I'd say, urgent ethical concerns around the procedure. And I have, over the course of my life, changed my opinion on this. I grew up not questioning male circumcision at all. I grew up indeed taking it for granted that it's a rite of passage. I am circumcised myself. I grew up believing that it was a necessity, an essential part of my culture and identity, and grew up incredibly happy that I was circumcised. And despite that, I've changed my opinion, not about myself, but about imposing this on a baby human being. And I think really it comes down to the following question. Do babies have human rights, or should they be imposed upon by their parents? And I think that any irreversible procedure, such as circumcision is, must not be imposed upon the child by the parents without the child's willingly given consent. And of course a baby cannot consent. And so lopping off a part of a baby's body without its permission must be, I believe, must call into question and must raise certain ethical questions around it. And so I've changed my view on this, and I've to say it's a very difficult conversation for me to speak so frankly about. Of course, I am accused when I speak in this way, and I've done so once before on LBC, of all sorts of treachery, and treachery to my community and religion in particular. But I've come to the view for the following reasons. The male penis, the skin, the foreskin that is removed from the male penis, contains about 20,000 nerve endings and 5 of the most sensitive parts of the penis. And circumcision will remove up to 35 to 50% of healthy, functioning penile skin, for no other reason apart from a religious belief, which is an important reason for many people. But of course we know that one cannot impose their religious views on others. And when it comes to an irreversible procedure such as this, where 35 to 50% of healthy, functioning penile skin containing over 20,000 nerve endings, including 5 of the most sensitive parts of the penis, are removed without the permission of the child, then I think that is seriously worrying ethically. Of course, there are other parts of the human body that people may argue, as they do with the foreskin, are unnecessary. People say the foreskin is unnecessary, it's hygienic to have it removed. But of course, my rebuttal to this would be that the appendix and the tonsils are often removed, and often the appendix especially is deemed unnecessary, and yet they're only removed if a problem occurs. Because one of the cornerstones of medical ethics is that there should be no invasive surgical procedure unless there is a proven need. Routine invasive surgical procedures are frowned upon and avoided unless they are needed. It's why babies are not routinely subjected to having their appendices removed and their tonsils removed. Yes, there's a chance later on in life that you could develop appendicitis or tonsillitis, but it's at that point they are removed. They're not routinely removed to make sure it doesn't happen to you in the future, because a surgical procedure, by definition, can cause complications and is unnecessary until it becomes needed.
We will make America great again.